I'm back. I realized there was another topic I wanted to discuss, um, which was the budget. I think I touched on it a little bit, but not much. I think that we do need to acknowledge that we are, as a country, $36 trillion in debt. And we're at the inflection point, basically, where we're going to start paying more on interest payments than we are financing the budget of our actual government to actually run. And we do need to fix that, right? And so, yes, we do need to be making cuts. We do need to be making the budget meet, and we do need to be more fiscally responsible, right, at our government level. I have zero faith that this is what Trump and his administration is doing, right? They honestly, I sincerely, truly believe that they're looking to find ways to cut taxes for the ultra wealthy or whatever, and that they really, really don't care about the average American person. I feel like even his current budget plan doesn't close the gap. It doesn't close the deficit. It expands it. It raises our debt level again. Like, he campaigns on closing the gap and then proposes a budget that's not at all going to do that. It's going to increase our debt over the next 10 years if it gets passed by another like $10 trillion. Well, I could be misremembering that number. It's been a while since I looked that one up. But I do know that it was in the trillions. So, like, he's not actually solving the problem. He's making it worse. You know? And I feel like we do need to come together as a society, and we do need to take a really good, hard look at all the things we're doing, right? We need to take a really good, hard look on what we're taxing, how we're taxing, why we're taxing, right? Where and how do we get our revenue? Like, where does it come from? What does it come from? How does it affect the people, right? And who is finding loopholes to get around it, right? And close those loopholes. Because I bet you a lot of those loopholes has been the major holes in the bucket, so to speak, that's been draining our wealth out of the average American people into the pockets of the wealthy, right? We need to find better ways to close those loopholes. And I bet you if we enforced it and stuck to it, we could solve our own problems. We could be fiscally responsible again. I really do. I really believe that it's possible, and that there's just a number of super wealthy and elite who have managed to find ways to game the system and stop putting into the programs that we have. Sincerely, yeah, I really, really think that. But I mean, I do think we should reevaluate and look at everything that we're doing, right? Like, even all the things that we're spending on, right? Like, okay, why are we funding this research? Why are we funding that research? Why are we funding this company or that company? Like, we really should. Or this program, what's this program do? What's its goal, and what's it actually doing, right? I'd love to actually inspect and look at what the goals of each program and company and whatever it was supposed to do, and then look at the results and compare. Are the results what we were looking for? And if not, what changes do we need to make those results what we need? Or do we need to just cut it entirely and pivot and try something else? Like, I'd love that approach. I would love that approach of actually taking a good hard look at something, doing some analysis, providing some data, providing some support for the decisions, and then going through with it. So I'm all for analyzing and efficiency and cutting and making our budget more responsible. I also really truly feel like putting extra effort and energy into specific targeted things like nuclear energy and carbon capture and figuring out ways to use the technology we already have to implement them for uses that are, and making them cheap and efficient for the average public to use. I think those are all things that we should focus our time and effort into. I think we should put our effort into training more doctors. And if we're having a lot of judicial issues where it takes too long for things to go through court, whatever, then we need to try and find ways to incentivize people to become judges or whatever we need, right? Find what those choke points are and fix them. We can't just throw money at things. We have to throw money at things with a purpose, right? We have to throw it and say, the goal is this. And then we need to actually revisit it and realize whether or not that result's being met. And if not, make changes. Don't stick with the status quo because it's the status quo. We need to actually meet our goals, right? We need to make goals, and then we need to meet those goals. And meeting those goals often takes reevaluation, and it takes regulation, right? Anyway, just wanted to make the point that I feel like if I hadn't, there would be a lot of right-leaning people who'd be like, oh, you just want to throw money and you're going to make things worse. That's not at all what I would be proposing, right? I want our government to be more efficient. But I also want it to function and do what it's supposed to do, right? The government isn't supposed to be a business. It's not meant to earn a profit, right? It's meant to protect its people, right? So we need it to have a revenue, and we need it to use that revenue in such a way as to protect the people, right? It needs to be able to fund military. It needs to be able to fund scientific advancements in research. It needs to be able to fund things like postal service, right? Those social programs are important to society. I feel like they are. And we need a government that is willing to provide them. Capitalism would like you to believe that the market will always provide the solution to everything, and that has proven to not be true. That's an oversimplified and over-optimistic version of capitalism. I feel like capitalism, with some government oversight, could be excellent. It really, truly could. But when you have government that is working for the sake of capitalism, that's when you get to corruption. That's when you get people that are lobbying specifically for their company or their objective or agenda or whatever, right? To benefit them personally. And then you get corrupt individuals who will take those bribes, and then they'll pass legislation to help that. But the government is what's supposed to protect us from those sharks, right? The government is what's supposed to protect us from capitalism becoming a dictatorship or an oligarchy. The government is supposed to provide a moral framework to capitalism, right? The government is supposed to say, hey, our society is lacking this, so we're going to use some of the funds to help promote what our society needs, right? It's supposed to be thinking about solutions for the people, what the people need, not what a few rich billionaires or whatever need. Like, the government is supposed to be thinking about and providing for its people. That's the point. The government is supposed to protect people, provide a safe place for them to live and express. Like, our America has been so wonderful in that we've always had freedom of speech, and I've never seen it so targeted by a president as it has been in Trump's second administration so far. There have been so many people that, because they've expressed views or used their freedom of speech, he's targeted law firms, he's targeted students, foreign students, he's targeted immigrants, doing everything he can to target, or trans people, right? He's targeting these minorities and trying to alienate them and exclude them and deport them and get them out because they disagree with him. He's filling his government with loyalists to him instead of loyalists to the government. Like, that's not what government's supposed to do. Our government, the American government, is not meant to be loyal to a person. The Constitution was written to prevent a monarch or an oligarchy or a dictatorship from getting power in America. It's meant to be balanced and to have rich and vibrant debate and be able to come to compromises and to be able to find solutions that help lots of people, right? Instead of just a specific group of people. Anyway, that's stupid.